Since 1968, Mackey Motors has been the place to find new and certified used vehicles. Along with a knowledgeable and helpful sales staff, you, the customer, are their number one priority. Find new roads at Mackey Motors in Lake City. Talking here today with Ryan North and Jacob Greving of the Kuemper cross country team. We're down here on this Saturday morning at the Harlan Invite at the Harlan Country Club. Both guys taking top 15, Ryan 10th and Jacob 12th on a warm and hilly course here today. We're going to start with Ryan over here on my left. And Ryan, really congested start. I think I had you right around 15 to 20 kind of with that first probably quarter to a half a mile. How'd the start go for you here today?
Well, there was a lot of kids that got out really hard. You know, I was probably, I want to say I was in like 25th at the beginning before the green over there. And I was really not a very good spot, so I had to, you know, pick up the pace on the hill back there to try to pass some kids, and that worked out in my favor. But yeah, there's just a lot of kids that got out really hard. I mean, they're full out sprinting basically, so it was really difficult to like gauge where I want to be in the race.
What was that tempo like that first mile here today?
First mile I probably went out a little fast, maybe like 5:20, 5:15, but it really made me tired of the second mile, so I wasn't doing very good. I was basically practically walking on some of the uphills because I was so tired, but yeah, it was not good. The first mile I probably went pretty fast.
Had you around 11th or so when you guys came by the creek the second time on the opposite side of the start line. How were you able to work your way up through the crowd?
You know, really pushing on the downhills. I was really striding out. I actually passed the 11th guy, or the 10th place guy, so I got 10th place at the end. But I really just strided down the downhills, and that kind of got me to a good placement at the end.
Gets a little hilly, it looks like, on the back part before you get into that second loop and in the second loop. Take us through that second loop, and you mentioned the hill's kind of hard here today. How'd you fight your way through them?
Well, the second loop you got to go up the big hill again, and I was not feeling it. My legs are very tired. I don't know why they were so tired, but they were super tired. And I couldn't really breathe very well. I mean, my breathing was through the roof. I was breathing probably like way more than I've ever breathed my entire life before. But I was pushing the downhills, and the uphills were pretty tough because I probably went too fast in the downhills. But the second loop it was not very good for me. And after I completed it, I was kind of like, I got into a different groove, and I started pushing the tempo a little bit because it was towards the end of the race.
What changed for you that you got into that different groove? Because you finished really, really strong. You kind of sprinted to the finish line to get that 10th place finish.
Well, it changed where I saw how close the finish line was, and I was like, oh wait, I need to go right now. So I kind of went a little late, but I ended up getting the guy, and he was right in front of me, so that kind of pushed me to do better too.
Well, I tell you what, good job out here. Go get some rest. I know this is not an easy course, so I appreciate you joining us here today.
Thank you.
Congrats on that top 10 finish.
Appreciate it.
Let's move over now to Jacob Greving, who finished 12th here today. And Jake, you were kind of right in that same pack with Ryan every time I saw you guys today. How did the start go for you?
I went out just where I wanted, a little slow, so I didn't die out like previous meets. I went out at like 5:33, kind of stuck towards that pace just like I wanted, and yeah, everyone went out fast. I knew that would happen, so I just went out pretty good pace.
I know you really wanted to run here today because you missed the last meet. Did that impact you on the start? Did you go out too hard maybe, or was it about right for you?
No, went out just right. I learned from my mistakes. Felt pretty fresh since I haven't raced in a while. A little nervous, like always, and overall pretty happy with the race.
You guys curve around that green, and then you come down and you run on this side of the creek here. Big group that you were running in there. Like I said, you were kind of right in that same grouping with Jacob. How did you work your way through? Because the next time I saw you, you were on the other side of the creek heading up towards that second loop. You were in about 13th place there. So how'd you work your way through the crowd?
I picked kids off most of the time, first couple miles. I knew kids would start dying out, slowing down, because there's probably 30 or 40 of us, 5:40 or faster. I know there's no way that all these kids are gonna go that fast. So I was patient the whole time. I ran a pretty strategic race, picked off a lot of kids till I found Ryan and just stuck with him.
Having not run this course before, how'd you kind of come up with the strategy of how you wanted to run this today?
When I was walking the course, I noticed it's pretty flat. There's some big hills, and I knew I had to attack these hills and attack the downhills. 'Cause I usually slow down the downhills, and I know I can't do that today. I got to go fast down them.
The back part of it, you get that second loop, seems to be the really hilly part. Take us through how you felt that second loop here coming towards the finish line there at the end.
After the hills, I had about half mile left. I knew the hardest part was done. I coast down the hill and go around that curve straight, just push the pace the whole time, the last half mile.
I know Jeff Storyhunt here today is taking pictures for us. He likes that shot of you guys coming across the bridge. Take us through what was going through your mind as you crossed that bridge, knowing that you were pretty close to the finish line.
I was pretty happy because I know I met my goal, stay with Ryan towards the end. I knew I had about a quarter mile left and just pushed through it. And I was almost done, and pretty good meet.
Did you talk to him about wanting to keep up with him today and kind of run with him, or was that just in your own mind and you just went out and did it?
It is kind of my own mind. He knows I want to stay with him, so I just didn't want to give up today. Just keep going, stay with him.
How'd you feel at the finish?
I was pretty happy. Gave her a little bit of a sprint there. I tried my best. He took off. Pretty good ending, though.
I tell you what, great job out here today. A 12th place finish for you. Appreciate you joining us here today, and go get cooled off.
Thank you.